Black Friday rant. So consumerism as an addiction of disconnect. What do I mean by this? So our society tells us that our society tells us that buying stuff makes us happy. This is clearly not the case. It's a very low correlation on all the psychological studies and just common sense. Yeah, it's not to say if you're living in absolute poverty, if you're living in absolute poverty, of course that sucks. But many of us are out of that. But we're still caught in this loop of buying things in order to make us happy. Now, I'm someone that's been in addiction recovery for 9 years, been sober 9 years. I've got some experience of drug addiction, etc., etc. Work with people with that. One frame I think that's useful to look at this is an addiction. So core of addiction, something which temporarily solves a problem but actually makes that problem worse. This creates a vicious cycle. So for example, you're depressed, you have a drink, you feel better, but then the next morning you wake up more depressed. So of course you want another drink, Basic loop of addiction. How does this work with consumerism? Well, our society has conditioned us to think that the stuff makes us happy. And new shoes. No, you get new shoes. Yeah, you get that little kind of buzz, new shoes. Kind of, you're playing the game of society, and people look at you. Oh, new shoes. It's cool. Yeah. But does it fill the gaping hole inside? No. What is the gaping hole? Disconnect. So stuff and the acquisition of more and more stuff, in order for just stuff itself, and then also status, is put in as a solution to this disconnect from self, from others, and the planet. So from self, my actual needs. Do I actually need a new pair of shoes today? No. Yeah. What are my actual needs today? Maybe it's I don't know, reaching out to someone. Maybe it's sharing like I am now. What's my actual human needs? So by being more and more brainwashed to say you want this, every time you go past an advert, you want this, it's actually taking you away from yourself, your basic self-connection. Also connection to others, of course. What does make us happy is deep connections with people around us, our communities, our families, our loved ones, etc. So when we're engaged in the activities of consumerism, it's not just that we're buying a new pair of shoes, it's not a big deal. It's that we're disconnecting from this deep social relational activity that's the real essence of satisfaction in life, even if it doesn't make us like woo the whole time. So we're disconnecting from that when we're looking at stuff as a way of solving that loneliness, that longing, that need for social connection that we all have, which can be quite difficult in a kind of modern urban environment. Lastly, of course, the planet. So this consumerism is destroying more and more and more by having us want more and more and more, which means more and more resources. This is really at the root of environmental problems. So we look at environmental issues, we need to also look at the psychological side of that, this cult of more that has developed, as a Buddhist, the Buddhist perspective, this wanting more and more and more, being encouraged to want more and more, it's not like a minor thing, it's at the very root of suffering. So the very root of suffering is called tanha, this craving, which is being encouraged. So it's not just that consumerism is buying shit we don't need, or rushing to get into a shop and everyone getting crowded. That's not the real issue here. The real issue is disconnect. The real issue is this addiction that makes us go, yay, I've got something, and then we feel empty again afterwards, creating a cycle of disconnect that's there, and the deep unhappiness which is based around a culture of craving. So there you go. Happy Black Friday.